Hey, welcome back to Irish Outlaw Garage. We're back from power tour. It's been a couple weeks because we had to get some stuff lined up around here and lined out because it was a mess. If you notice, Zeppy looks awful tall, and that would be because the tree man cometh. That's right, we had to get this tree down. This is the one that fell and it took the light pole off the house and hit my new tractor. And I didn't really feel safe working here because that thing was leaning really bad. While he was here, had that big oak taken down too because it was leaning and the ants were getting to it. And then we had one that was struck by lightning right back there. That was an interesting one because I was going to the bathroom right in the window over there, and that one decided to get struck by lightning. Needless to say, wiping was not an issue. Anyway, today we're gonna start on this 84 Dodge D100 Ram that belonged to a guy that was a land speed record holder, Mr. Jim Lange. You can look him up. Studebaker Avante is what he drove, and I've known this truck my whole life, much like I've known that Jeep truck right there my whole life. So first things first, we need to get this thing running. I'm tired of pulling it around. I did have it running, but an incident occurred and it doesn't run right now. So, besides the flat tires, but they'll air up. They're not happy. So we're gonna have to deal with that issue too. But I thought today, let's get this thing running. Let's clean it up and see what we're working with. I don't want to get it all, you know, running great and then I just don't like the way it looks. But if you can see, it's been sitting a long time. This truck was originally black. It is the Slant 6. Believe it or not, this is my favorite engine ever. Powerless, gutless, will pull anything you ask it to pull. Just it don't have any get up and go really. This one has the 4-speed behind it. Not sure which 4-speed, but it's there. But everything's here. It's complete. From the carb to the pan, it's all there. But this one had the dreaded Dodge wiring problem, where the wire in the steering column basically overheated, got hot, fried. Luckily the guy shut it off before it had a chance to really go. And then what I did to get it running is I just made my own ignition wire. I went through the dash, and while I was moving it this last time, this wire got caught right there in that damn knuckle for the steering mechanism stuff. So we need to get this thing running so we can move it. We're going to clean it up, and then we're going to probably start with brakes. We want to make sure this thing is safe and runs and drives all together at one time. So let's start getting this thing wired up right and get her started, huh? Oh, that's good. And somebody didn't cut that down. I may have worked on this before. I don't know. What's up, dogs? You say hi? Or are you watching them mow? That's all right. What do you think? Stormy. What are you doing, big boy? Stormy's real happy right now because he stays in the garage. As you can tell, he made his way in. But I put a new air conditioner in the garage and I leave it on for him. Yes. We have spoiled dogs. We have 2 inside, 2 outside. Our 2 outside ones stay in the garage with an air conditioning, and I have heat in there. You already seen that with my oil burner. If I didn't have the oil burner, there'd be propane or wood. So our dogs they're spoiled. Trust me. On to the truck. So this is the main wire right here. See how it's all burnt and nasty? Hopefully it shows up on the camera. It's like that all the way into the ignition switch. And it needs a new wiring harness, but we can get around that. We can just, for now, we got this red wire right here. It is hooked directly into the ballast resistor that goes to the coil, and I put it on a clamp. That way we can just get it off and on. Probably maybe look for a new steering column. If not, I really was just in a hurry when I put this thing together to make it run. So we'll try it this way first, see if we can get her to run. Hopefully, that way we can air the tire up and get her out of here and we can scrub her down, because this thing is nasty. I don't even want to work on it. I don't even work on it because it's a Dodge, and then let alone it's nasty. So Let's try it. 2-stroke gas down the old gullet. Look at all the fuel coming out. Oh, man. Alright, just give her a shot. Step back, buddy. You got tire. We got lights. See what happens. She got no spurt. What is that?
The alternator.
Something sparking over there?
It's coming from the alternator.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Don't cut.
This thing's a wiring friggin' nightmare. We gotta go into the coil. Oh yeah. Gonna put a coil wire on.
Oh yeah, because you stole it. Because you stole it.
Helps if you put the coil wire on it. I don't have a lot of these types of coils, so, or you know, the coil wire in general. Well, that thing's nasty. Wet. Yeah. One here. That was actually the coil popping out. Come on, get in there. This is the actual wire off of this thing. This thing, I don't know, this coil wire may be bad. There's one.
Well, now the deep stroke on.
I bet she goes now. Want to bet on it? See what the coil does. Yeah. See? That's what it was. The coil got spark. We got fuel. Try it again. Uh-huh. Like somebody stabbing a dolphin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Try to get some in the, there we go. Watch your back. I know it's got fuel in it. How much, I have no idea.
She wants to go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put the battery charger up to it. Okay, it runs. Just gotta get it running all the time. Get a plug in.
Where's the plug in at?
Give her the juice. Well, okay. By the way, don't let your coil sit there with power on, because the whole time it's gaining charge, gaining charge, gaining charge. You'll burn it up in a heartbeat. A couple gallons of fuel in it. It's leaking. The tank is. It's actually the rubber part where the inlet hose goes. But filled up the bowl. Let's see what happens. See if it'll run now. It's still sitting there leaking. I think it was full of fuel. We just didn't get enough up there yet. Run, but y'all hear that? You can touch the carburetor. That's a rod. That's a rod. Well, shit. This is probably my dad looking down on me saying, what are you doing working on that Dodge? That thing's a pile. You know, don't. It's a Dodge. What? Now, this little slant 6 will run like that forever. I've seen them run with a block cracked, big chunk out with the rod hanging out, and it still ran 5 cylinders. So, but it runs pretty good. I mean, we may look into it. It may be something else. Could be something in the clutch. Could be a couple other things. So we'll look into this. I'm not giving up just yet. Take it easy on me. We're gonna keep going. So we got it running. Everything seems to be fine, except for the rod, if it is a rod. But let's see if we can back this thing up, and we're going to clean it out. Inside, out, everything, and see what we're working with, and then we'll worry about the engine after that. So, just been kind of tinkering here. I know this gasket down here is junk. So that's a big, big vacuum leak. But this was a vacuum leak, and that went down to the distributor for your vacuum advance. And that tapping, you can't feel on the engine. You can barely feel it on the intake, but you can feel it here where everything comes together. Broken exhaust stud I knew about. That exhaust is sitting there tapping. That's actually what it is. So if we take, I don't know, here. We'll use this. And I bet if I put it on that exhaust, listen to that. Purr like a kitten. Here. So that's what that is. So we're good. Engine's good. I know it is. You ready to try to move it? See if she'll move? I know this one brake likes to lock up, so maybe we ought to get a vice grips out on that line. I knew this one broke. It would lock up, the one on the driver's side. So let me get a vice grips on that line, and we'll try to back her over here where we can get her washed. So she's running really, really rich. And that's because whenever I poured fuel into this, it was pouring out from underneath this carb gasket. I knew it needed that. I actually have the intake and exhaust manifold gaskets for this, valve cover gasket, the tune-up kit. I have everything. We just need to get some belts. Water pump seems to be pumping. But you can hear every once in a while, it'll quit that jumping around crap, and that's probably because of that carburetor. But that's what we'll get all into. We need to clean this thing up. I've never, ever washed it or anything. So none of the gauges work. So we're gonna have to figure that part out. But And it does have one brake locking up. Doesn't matter. I already called O'Reilly's. They have everything I need. Let's get to scrubbing. See what she looks like. All right. Let's get the super clean on her. And give it the spray off. You know, because everybody seems to love that. I'm gonna get it. You see, the problem I hate with doing this is now I can see all the flaws, and now it's like, God damn it, that's a lot. That's a lot. Let me show you. So, hood is as white, you know, down to primer as most of these Dodges. That's what they did. That's just how it is. I didn't get everything because we're still gonna SOS pad or some kind of way, but you can see that this, yeah, this thing has been painted very, very poorly. We can fix that. We don't do it with Bondo though. The bed has a huge dent right there. This, I could actually, with my new acquired knowledge of short strand fiberglass, I can straighten this out because that's still solid. So we could put something in there to make that work. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I may check with LMC or AMD or somebody, see if they've got the little thing, but I'm horrible at that, so we'll probably ignore it and just make sure we cut out the rot. Maybe. We'll try to take this dent out. No, I guess I won't, because that's inside the bed. You can't get to it. But it's as good as humanly possible as a wash. Got all the lichen off of it, cleaned up all the crap. So that's how it looks. It ain't been washed in years, probably 10 years. Uh-oh. Front bumper is trashed, but it'll work if we need it to. This front grille is trashed. Somebody hit it a million times. These are work truck people. This fender's a little garbled right there. Little ding there, and it's buckled here. They have to try to find a fender. But I'm not so worried about all that stuff. You know, maybe try to find a whole bed. I doubt it. But the bed's solid, and you can't see it because of all the crap that's in it. This I took off because I was trying to fix something. But that's it. Rear bumper's fine. Looks great. Tailgate even looks good. It's used. I don't care. But well, there we have it. She's washed. Washed. Now, if you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, you should restore it this way and put these on it," no. We're gonna make this thing safe, drivable, legal, and you know, might fix a few here's and there's, but as long as it drives, guys, that's what I do here. I don't do restorations. If it's a necessary thing like I did with the roof on the ambulance, yeah, I'm gonna do that. This, I'm just gonna clean it up. You know, I may fall in love with the truck, I don't know. I know I really did love my brother-in-law's. He had one just like this. Same everything. It was a twin except for the moon roof thing. This truck here had a vinyl cover over the back that snapped. You can still see the snaps. And it just had the old dog dish poverty caps on these white wheels. These are the original wheels. So I'm not taking them off. They're staying on there. I'll probably try to find me some dog dishes. So let's see if we can't get this thing fired up and put into position so we can get her up off the ground and things like that. See what we can do with it. If this is boring, I don't care. 1975. I don't care. Anyway, let's get to it. She got some brakes sticking. Yeah, she's up in the air. Doing the shake test. Yep. I kept the jack underneath it because I don't know what got spoiled over here when they took this tree down. If something got soft, you never know. Check this out. Yeah. That one's solid. And this one's solid. So yeah, she wasn't going nowhere. Not a problem. By the way, look at the paint. It dried. This is really good. If I can get that dent out of there, I ain't worried about the rust on that truck bed edge. This is not bad at all. This side looked like, yeah, here's the patina side, as we'll call it. But you know, I got thinking about this. My brother-in-law, Rick, had one of these. Identical. He ended up swapping in a 360 and an automatic. But just in honor of him, because I love the guy to death. He's more of a brother. He was more of a son to my dad than a son-in-law. Let's name this guy. This is Ricky Joe. This one's for him. So let's get these wheels off. We'll start working on these front brakes. We need to get this thing running and driving to see where we're at before I start working on the wiring. The windshield wiper stuff needs done. It needs a rear glass. Just little things at a time. Little things at a time. I might even try to find the wheels. Well, actually, the wheels that are on Blanche were the wheels that Rick had on his. That's tempting. That's tempting. Onward. Wheels are off. They're a little stuck, weren't bad. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take these off the caliper and see if that releases the caliper, because if the caliper's not bad, I honestly think it's these, because they were pretty sharp. Loose. I already sprayed everything. One thing I did notice in here, the drag link is bad. And if you're going to change the drag link on a Dodge, you might as well change the Pitman arm too. Pitman arm. And I think those are actually kind of hard to find for some reason. See what happens here. She's off. It released all kinds of fluid out of there. That should be just pouring. And it's not. Get my hammer. Nope. But that line ain't leaking at all. Jeffy grabbed my big alcohol. Look at that. It was the line. What do you think? Can we just change the lines?
Yeah.
That feels pretty good once it's loose. We can try it. Just change the lines out, and of course I say that, and it'll be broke and stuck. Okay, so that one's loose. So let's we'll just cut the line right out there. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Oh no, that might actually come out of there. We'll cut the line off and we'll use a socket on there and pop her loose. Go ahead and get the other side real quick and we'll cut those off. So they both came off. We're going to go ahead and change the calipers too. I think the calipers are sticking. These don't look to be completely, they're not completely bad, but they are bad. So we need to go ahead and change those calipers too. I'm not changing the brake pads. Brake pads look brand friggin' new in it. Did find one of the metal lines on the passenger side though. I think it needs replaced. So looks like I'm gonna make a damn brake line. Story of my life with these, but other than that, I think we might get away with a pretty easy job on the brakes. I don't know if I'm, knock on wood, but I don't have a tree here no more. So I need to get a couple of brake hoses. O'Reilly's has them. A couple of calipers. O'Reilly's has them. While I'm out, carburetor gasket. Brake fluid in my mouth. Now I've got line. I was trying to figure out what this line is. Here, I'll show you. So this, I seen this little block put in and an extra line, and it's going in the cab. What the hell? So then I got to looking. This is an old school brake, and it actually has the brake line that goes into it. It's not completely electric, so I don't know if I'll leave that on there or not. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, here's the inside. It's a good looking old truck in here, got the moon windows. They don't seem to leak. This back glass is for back here, but I'm not putting that in here. We're gonna either maybe have Schmitty make me one for that, or we'll just find another one. They ain't everywhere. This is a no air truck. This thing is plain Jane daily driver. You can see the wiring nightmare. I got to figure out which one is which and kind of, cut it into it and go to the battery. But yeah, I'll put a fuse on it. That way it don't do what it did again. But this is the only bad spot of the seat. But it's not bad enough that I would go restoring this thing. I got one of those, horse blanket seat covers that'll fit this thing perfectly. We ain't got to worry about that. So, and everything, by the way, bed, all the mounts for the body and all that, they're all good. So okay, so let's get these brakes done. That gets us running and driving, and then we can work on the rear brakes, and we'll just start going through little things. I mean, this isn't the plan is I don't friggin' have one, and I'm just tired of seeing this thing just sitting out here. So we got a little bit of work to do, but not a big deal. As long as I don't fall in love with it. If I fall in love with it, Ricky Joe's staying here. Or maybe I'll give Ricky Joe to Ricky Joe. He don't want it. Already asked him. Well, it's nice not having a tree there. The tree stump's perfect. I don't like cutting down trees for no reason, but this one was gonna fall on stuff, and it was just dangerous for the kids to be around. But the big one in the middle of the yard, that thing's been here since the original forest was here. It's probably, I think we guessed, it's probably right around the Revolutionary War. I don't like doing that, but again, it was leaning towards the house. Can't have that. Well, I'm not a tree hugger or anything like that. I respect nature for the most part. Or I try to. Unless I'm burning rubber on the cars, I guess. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I like this a lot. Yeah. Well, shit. Oh my God, look at that ball joint. I think we'll be alright. Get out of here, goddamn wasp. For now, I'm not putting new brake pads on it. We're just not, because it doesn't make no sense if I'm not gonna get these turned. I mean, okay, I'll put new brake pads on it. Okay. Freaking. I'm allergic to wasps, by the way. Anyway, let me get that other side off. And we'll run and grab some parts. That's all we can do. Boring. Not to mention it's a Dodge. It helps get rid of the rust too. When I get back, that'll be clean. We got that in. Good. Got brakes. Caliper. Just like such. We need our little bracket set. What are the rubbers for? I have no idea what them are for. So I guess I need to look that up. A drill took a shit. Otherwise I'd use my drill. Clean these up. Shut up! Huh. That's it. What are you doing? Get! We find a clip. Get the other side on. Well, all back together. Got them bled, ran out of brake fluid, so we're gonna have to do some more. Zeppy was out here helping me. I pulled this dent out with my little dent puller. Worked pretty good. But we're gonna take a break. You see, Artemis is headed out. Zeppy and Amber in it. And I gotta step in Blanche here, and we're gonna go to a fire department's benefit barbecue cook-off and car show. So, and it's my brother-in-law Brad is on the fire department, and it's their thing, and he's the one that did all the work, and Artemis on the back. So we'll go show her support for that. Got bouncy houses for kids and all that kind of crap in the car show, so she's bringing Artemis. I'm gonna go get cleaned up and bring Blanche behind them. I'll be back later on. Got all weekend. I ain't doing nothing. But brakes so far pretty well, and that line did not leak over there. That was my eyes that were making, you know, I was making a fool out of myself, thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to change this whole line. So far it's fine. But anyway, on to the next thing on this. We'll be back later. Hey, good morning. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning the next day. We stayed a little long at the fireman's benefit, and that's fine. Like I said before, family comes first, community comes first, charity comes first before all this for me. So I'm just not gonna waver from that part of my life. So it is what it is. For y'all, you don't get things as quick you know, well, you did it as quick because you're on, you know, you're on YouTube watching it. Entered the cars, it was $10 a piece. Artemis was loved. Didn't get a trophy. It's amazing to me that People's Choice went to a newer Corvette. That's how it goes. Again, for charity, who cares, right? I brought Lange and she had bird shit all over her. I didn't care. We daily drive ours. So the brakes are pretty well in the front done. I need to get more brake fluid. And I just kind of come out here and assessing this wiring situation because this is a rat's nest. This was bad when I got it. I showed you some of it, but there's twist nuts, wire nuts holding shit together. I mean, it's bad. This wire here, this is your main power wire that basically powered the entire system inside the truck. And what happened is the ignition switch in these Dodges is notorious through these years. You turn the key on, it'll get a short and it'll fry this wire, completely burn out your steering column, catch the truck and car on fire. It's a nightmare. And that's what happened to this truck. That's why he parked it. So the right thing to do is you get a new ignition switch, and I did. But then you got to worry about getting the wiring done through your fuse box or through your, you know, your firewall junction here with all your wires. And you can take all that apart and reclip and that. You don't really necessarily have to do that. You can use the original clip if you want. I'm not going to. What I did was I cut the wire that went into the junction of your wiring harness from the ignition switch to this box, and I just cut the wire ahead of that off the new ignition switch and ran a wire through that little box out to here, right to power. That powered the entire system, and it worked good, except I forgot to get my wires out of the way. Whenever I moved it to the back this last time, it got wrapped around the steering knuckle and yanked her out. Not a big deal. I found it underneath there, but keep that in mind with these Dodges. If you start knowing just the slightest things in that tumbler or something just don't feel right or seem right with your electrical system, make sure you check that, because they will absolutely catch on fire. So let's do some wiring. So down in here, here's my new this is my new wiring harness from my new ignition switch that I put in there. This right here is what I had, you know, jerry-rigged in right there, and it went through the firewall, basically through the wiring block. You know, the fuse block is separate. Now if you look right up here, if I can get the camera to go in there, and right here you can see that burnt wire. It has its own separate little dock that it goes through. I know it's kind of not good. It's not a good angle, but that right there, that went through the harness, barely through the harness, and ended up right there. Right there. You can see where it's kind of burnt. I don't know if it'll focus in on that or not, but it's right here. That's the only wire. That's your main power going to your ignition switch, okay? As far as for ignition and everything else. So what I'm gonna do is, there is a block right here. I know this is awful, you really can't see the damn wire in the way. Right there, that goes all the way through right there. So what I do is run this up here, some 10 gauge wire, and it will go through there. It will actually push through. See, I'm actually getting it to go through, and I can run that to the battery, and I'm gonna put a fuse on it, and then it'll hook directly to right here. I have to recut it. I know the focus is terrible. I'm doing the best I can, but that will give me the power that I need, and I'll have a fuse on it because this didn't have any kind of a fuse. So yeah, anyway, let me get that wire fed through there, and we'll go from there. Yeah, we got our wire kind of ran through like with the normal wiring, but you know, it's good enough. So a couple things that we're going to do to this, and I know there's a better way to do this, and you know, one of these days maybe we'll get a fuse or junction block for all this to go into. It's a lot smarter than the way they have it. I shouldn't say smarter, it's just more safe, I guess. But for the main going in, so that shit don't happen again, we're gonna put a fuse in there. 30 amp fuse. And I gotta get these are the better kind. I had these, I bought these for the ambulance, and I never have changed them, but the ambulance is fine, so we'll just put them on this. There's a couple of them in here. There's one right here that goes to something. I don't know what it goes to, but we'll check. But that's the one that's got it's got a friggin' wire nut on it. I don't know if you can see it. It's right. But we're gonna wire this in. A lot of these have fusible links. And probably, my guess, what happened is the guy got rid of the fusible link and just wired it in, because I'm the third owner of this truck. The first owner would have never wired it like this. He's too smart of a guy. That. Give her the old. There we go. That's basically for the elements. The elements don't get into it. And then this will go here, straight to the battery terminal, like this. And then we'll wire that in, just like that, and zip tie it and put a 30 amp fuse in it. But I'm not going to put the fuse in it now. Anyway, got plenty of wire there. The happy cable looks happy, so I'm not going to worry about that. Sad cable, it needs a little help. So we'll probably get a new one of them. Got a nice red ground here. I'm pretty sure I did that actually. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, that's not my work. So, I'm hacked, but I'm decent hacked. And one of my main things is wiring, and I got this one right here. That looks like an aftermarket something. My guess, this probably went to that brake booster, or that brake electric trailer brake. So we may be able to just unhook that, but we'll have to rehook. Ooh, there's a lot of wires exposed there. I may have to get out the goop. That actually looks pretty good right there. Let's heat that up. This is one of my old fixes. Let's just get this sucker melted. Perfect. We'll just hold that for a second. A lot of these that were so quick I didn't melt them. These things are getting expensive. These little heat shrink. But I like them a whole lot better than the automatic ones where you just heat them, you just put the wires in, and I don't like those. I tried them. I tried some good ones. I tried everything. Somebody wants to send me something to try, you go ahead. But I'm pretty sure I don't like them. So, what else we got wiring wise? This purple wire, I don't even know what the hell that goes to, but here's the wire nut. It's on there good. Oh wow. Oops. A little bit of the stuff coming out. Basically fixing my hurry up and go stuff is what we're doing. Okay, so this fusible link needs to be hooked to here. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's aftermarket. We'll have to look inside. What could I do to... I mean, they sell fusible links. I wouldn't know the first thing about what the hell size that is. So I've been kind of going across Google and different things on how to do this, because I've really never done this on a Dodge. And this little duck foot thing that's on here is probably a problem at some point. With the wiring, that way I'm doing it where I'm coming directly from that blue wire. A lot of people have done that apparently. But I do think I have found a way that I'm actually going to wire this. But for now, we just want to make sure everything works. We're going to try to figure out why the gauges don't, or the lights and everything are going crazy. And I have a feeling it has a lot to do with this duck foot thing. But I'm probably wrong, and all you Dodge guys are going to call me a nut job, and you're doing this wrong and that wrong. And here's the thing, I don't care. My job here is to make this thing safe, reliable, drivable. And probably what I'll do is I will get an auxiliary to get rid of all these fusible links, because I mean, it was a thing in the day. You don't need that anymore. I just get a junction block. I actually have one I could probably use. But for now, let's just make sure we got everything where it needs to be, where it gets hooked up, and we'll go from there. So let me get that wire hooked up underneath the dash, and we'll hook this thing up and we'll see if she'll start on her own, huh? All right. Make sure she'll start without me hooking up the ignition anyway. So here we go. For those of you that are not Dodge folks, this is the duck's foot, what they call it. And these 3 fusible links, one goes to the alternator, and there's some that go to different things on the inside. But what we'll do is this gets cut off, and we'll put it on its own little junction block over here on the side. I did go ahead and hook this back up to there with this fusible link as best I could. It'll work, it's fine. This, I'll just put some of my goop on, my liquid tape, and that is really bad. I'd rather not put that, but this is what we got for right now. This I'm not hooking up. I did verify it goes to the brake, and you can see these wonderful Dodge wires. This is typical. They crack and they're just awful, Dodge technology, woohoo! Love the motors though. Anyway, let me hook it up. Well, let's hook up the happy cable. See what it does. I had to put the fuse in. Nothing going crazy anyway. No sparks. Looks like we got everything hooked up. Nothing seems to be crazy. We still need to fix this wire. That we don't need a wire. Everything looks good. Okay. Let's see if we got some giddy up go. Okay, so now we come to the issue of why is nothing working in the cab. We got taillights, no headlights. Could be something stupid. Maybe, I don't know. But if the taillights are working, the headlights and the running lights and everything should work too. They are in fact not. Anyway, wiring, this part works. Let me get this thing open. And oh, there it is. Got battery in it. My good one. My fancy pants one, it died. I don't know why. Let's check for some vacuum leaks. Oh yeah, carb-based gasket. So, got running lights, no headlights. And I have a feeling it has to do with and I'm shaking the back of these just to make sure. But I got no power coming to them. So, my guess is it's this dude right here. This thing. It's stuck. I had to use the vice grips to get that thing loose. It was stuck down. You can see how corroded it is. My guess is that's bad because this seems to be working great. And like I said, we have tail lights. Okay, both tail lights work and both running lights work. So, yeah, see? So that means our switch is bad. Definitely bad. And I know these ain't gonna work because they're all beat to shit. But, okay. So we're that far. As long as we get brakes, lights, we should be okay. And it runs piss poor, but it is what it is. There's definitely some vacuum leaks. We need to find a carburetor base plate. But I'm sitting here contemplating what I'm gonna do because this exhaust needs that exhaust manifold needs drilled out, right? It's bad. This bolt broke off. So, what do we do? I think first we'll see if it runs and drives, which it obviously does. They all do. They always do. So, anyway, let me do some figuring and thinking here. So I've done some thinking, did some calling. O'Reilly's does have the dimmer switch I need, so we can grab that. Unfortunately, they do not have the carb base plate gasket that, you know, usually comes in a kit, but carb's fine. It's dirty, but it's fine. Do I really want to pull all this intake and exhaust manifold off? Because I have a feeling I'm going to open up a can of worms when I do that. And the thing runs fine, just needs its tune-up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use my torch. I'm going to get the rest of that exhaust flange and everything off of there. And I'm going to try like hell with a vice grips and heat to get that broken stud out of that exhaust manifold while it's in there. This is going to be it's a pain in the ass to do. But I think that'd be better than trying to take this whole damn thing apart. Because there really ain't any oil leaks. There ain't any. The vacuum leak, I actually tightened the carburetor down. It was loose. But there ain't no reason to go deeper into this if you don't need to. We're just making a running, driving vehicle. The wiring seems to be fine. All the fuses are getting power when the key's on. Already checked all that. So, I think I'll run to town, get some brake fluid, number one, because I'm out. I'm going to go ahead and grab those rear wheel cylinders, just in case. I mean, probably should change them anyway, but, you know, why fix it if it ain't broke? And then, we'll go ahead and we'll put the wheels on it and get it on the ground. Maybe we should change the oil. I think we'll do that, because this, you know, has a Fram oil filter on it. We need to take care of that problem. Put some good oil in it. BR1. But yeah. slow progress. Just I don't want to work on this all day. I got things to do. So yeah, let me run to town. I know I'm probably boring shit out of you right now, you know, but let me just run to town, get a few things, and then we'll get right back to this. Let's see if we can't get that exhaust stud out of there. Please, torch, do your job. Even though I don't want to get too much torching, because anyway, oxygen's expensive. And I might be just about out, so I gotta watch that too. Anyway, I got a big vice grips and a damn torch. We can get it out of there. Okay. Back from the store, got a few things. So this is the one that's broke off. This one, the stud is still on. There's two. And I already have the gaskets. But this one, it's not flush. It actually has a little bit on it. So what I want to do is I want to heat up this nut on this side, on the stud, be on the back side of the manifold. I'm going to heat that up. And I got my ratchet wrench here, 11/16, and I'm going to try to ratchet wrench that sucker off there without breaking it. Then what I want to do is get a vice grips on that sumbitch and heat the hell out of it, because it goes all the way through. I'm going to heat the hell out of it, see if we can't get that off. If not, we're going to take the whole damn manifold off, and I really don't want to do that. So I got my torch way the hell over there, because I'm sure it leaks propane. And yes, I use a propane torch. Cheaper and readily available. Just takes a little bit more time to get her hot. Works good though. But yeah, so over there, over here, lighter with the cigarettes, and I need a new battery. But I'll try to get as much of it in there as I can with me trying to do it, but we'll see. Whoa, that ain't good. Very got something big. You idiot. Put it on there upside down. Oh, just give it time to cool down, Chase. You jackass. Ah! Come on, baby. Come on. Come off there. Trying. I got no goddamn leverage. He's slowly coming. There we go. Come on. So it's off. That's all there is to it. The problem is we got this little piece of stud right there. Now, it is a through stud, so it goes all the way through. So I think I can get a vice grips on that, and I can just heat the dog piss out of that cast iron, and I bet I can start getting that loose. Now I could weld a nut on there, I suppose, but say you don't have a welder, maybe all you have is a little propane torch. But I'm not going to deal with that. We're just going to put a vice grips on it and heat the shit out of it. Boy, that shit is in there. This is knocker loose, or PV blaster. Don't breathe that shit. If it's hot and burning like that, do not breathe it. Stay the hell away from it. It's not good for you. I'm spraying and backing off. Just don't do it. Woo! That fucking thing is hot. Keep doing this. Push your tools down. And it still has, that's what we're talking about right there. Bada boom, bada bing. Got that sumbitch. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. Threads look decent. These threads I know work. So now we just need to see if I've got a stud that'll work. Let me try to find that other nut. Whew. So there's the gasket. There was no gasket material left. I have some of them. Here's the original nut that was on it. It is a lock nut. And the threads look great. It was just rusty, and the threads look great on the studs. So, I'm pretty sure I got some studs. But do I want to put these bastards back on, or do I want to put some brass nuts back on like I did Artemis? Because they'll hold just fine. They're a whole lot easier to get off if this happens. I don't know. Let me find some studs real quick. God damn. I may have to go jump in the pool. It ain't really that hot out today, but oh, Jesus. Well, I do not have these. These look like they were. This was a bolt. That was a bolt. It sure as the hell is, because the head would have been about right there. Well, do I have a grade 8 bolt? Oh, look. Well, turns out I do have a grade 8. We're going to say it's a grade 8. But the more I look at this, it says Rockford on it, and this was, yeah, it's a grade 8. That's an old school like engine bolt or something, but it'll work. Got my gasket right here. When you buy a kit for the intake manifold gasket on these slant 6s, you get the intake to exhaust manifold gasket, the little round one. That's this one. It's a smaller diameter. Whereas this one, this is your exhaust manifold gasket that goes to your exhaust pipe. So let's give her a shot, shall we? So that part is done. That's what I did. Not leaking and banging and tanging anymore. That carb is in fact junk. Am I going to rebuild it? Nope. Where it crosses over under there, there's a really bad leak right down there. And it's just, oh well, I'll have to work with that. I was worried about this. So what we need to do is get this thing, I don't remember if I put new plugs in it or not, because this was sitting there. And I think that's the one that I took out. I'm pretty sure I didn't put new plugs in this. So it does need a tune-up. Anyway, let's see what all works and shit. Let me gather my thoughts. I need to get that cowl cleaned out. I got all that stuff put together yet too. Anyway, we're looking good. So really, I'm just tinkering. While you were out, I hooked a oil pressure gauge and a new temp gauge. Just used some shit that I had around here, nothing special. Did use that nylon line that was hooked to my gauge set already, and that's basically because before I go putting a $20 copper line on it, we're just testing it. Boy, these plugs is shot. I don't remember if I put these in. I think I did. You're right at 35 to 37. Good. Nice thing is all these are coming out. Slant 6 are notorious for, you know, plugs getting stuck in, they won't come out. But this one, not so much. Nice thing is I don't see no oil on the plugs. It's all carbon. And I have a feeling that stems from this shitty carburetor. There's no idle adjustment, that's all done electronically. There's no air fuel mixture screw. I think it's behind a plug. I don't think anybody's ever touched it. So, yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the old school carb for it. I mean, there's other options. You can get a 4-barrel intake and why? It ain't worth it. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, I suppose, if you wanted to make some kind of a special race car out of a Slant 6, you can get some pretty good torque out of these things if you put some air to them, you know, like a whirler or something like that. But we ain't doing that here. We don't do that here. What we do is make them safe and make them usable. This is a truck. It should be used as a truck. I had these plugs laying around, by the way. Same plugs that fit in Artemis. Exact same plugs that fit in Artemis. R45 TS, tapered seat. I know. You real hardcore Mopar guys are like, what are you doing? Putting AC Delcos in a Mopar. Well, because they're a hell of a lot better plugs than Champion. So, I go by Delcos. If you want to put something else in, be my guest. Or Autolites. Autolite ain't a bad plug. I thought I had a tune-up kit for this, and I do not. This thing needs a cap and a rotor pretty bad. So, I'll make a phone call here in a little bit. You know, whew. Well, hell, that gap's completely closed. Okay, perfect. We know that number 6 was firing it off. Well, son of a bitch. I don't think I put these in here. I would have never, ever put that in there like that. I'm a hack, but come on, I'm a mechanic first. Well, I'm a hack. There's a few things I'm very strict on. When I'm building an engine, I'm strict on cam bearings and your crank being spinned by a professional, no matter what. No matter what. Yeah, I know you can do it yourself with the shoestring. No, just take it to machine shop, have them spin it, have them polish it. That way it's their problem if something messes up, unless they tell you. Like the Pontiac, that's it. That crank, it couldn't go any more than it already had. But anyway, plugs changed. That was the plugs that were bad. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but they're all fouled. That one, the gap was completely closed. So, I don't know. We're gonna have to see here. Get my button. Button looks decent. I mean, it's worn. We'll put it back on. Boom. Thank God this is a truck, because these sumbitches, when you're trying to work on them when they're in a car, like a little B-body Mopar or some shit, Nope. You can't reach your hand in there for nothing. Okay. Get this up out of there. It's the old oil line. I'm just going to put this over there. Way it don't run into anything. Okay. So I've got new plugs in this biatch. And there's my two spares. Let's see how she runs now. That's a lot better. We're in here. I had to take the light out of the oil dummy light. It's down here, and I ended up putting it in here, so everything's working. It's pretty cool. Here's what we said. It's been sitting here idling, so she's 180. About 10 pounds of oil pressure, which ain't fantastic, but we need to change the oil too. We can do that now, I suppose. Oh, look, cargo light. Does cargo light work? Ain't no goddamn cargo light. What was that? Car antenna. Oh, my bad. Horn ain't hooked up. But, blinker? Blinker? Let's see if they work. Look at that. That one works. How's the front one? Oh yeah. Swap them. Check the other side. God damn, this thing is smoking. Yep. Yep. So I got a new dimmer switch we need to put in. Good God. Let's shut her down. So we got a dimmer switch I need to put in here, so I can do that real quick. Get them headlights working. That makes her street legal. Then we got to worry about that carburetor. That thing is trash. Oh, excuse me. It's trash. I mean, like, wow, trash. So let me get that damn dimmer switch in, and we'll assess where we're at. Oh, look. $9 part. Lights work. Well, after some deep searches, I did find the idle mixture, and somebody had removed the plug, you know, because back in the day they didn't want you to touch that. Only the dealer could. I found it, and it's actually a hex head on this Holly 1945. This is the actual part number of the carb. Rebuilt one, like $200. $220 plus a $45 core. Will I do that? Maybe, but not now. So what I did was I took the air mixture screw out. I took brake clean, blew out the air bleeds to the top of the horn, and blew brake clean through the mixture screw port, and then blew it all out. I'm gonna set this. I'm gonna stick this all the way in. You don't drown, you know, grind it in there. You get it in there all the way till it seats, and then you back her off 1.5, 2 turns. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's it only take a second. I'm just kind of cleaning on things, and because it just seemed like it's running rich. Even with the air leak in the carb, it was freaking horrid. I mean, that was bad. Something wrong with the idle screws, and you can't set the idle because it's on that damn electric thing. So it's right there. Get her back in there. Yep. There you go. Yep, she started. And this carb is junk. Let's just be clear. these carbs they're horrid, and you can't just replace it with one of those other, you know, off of eBay or Amazon because of how this one is set up. You'd have to change everything. And yeah, $80 carb, you can change a few things, but I don't want to do that. So let's just see what we can come up with here. See if we can get it to idle better, you know, and then I'll fix that exhaust on the bottom. I'm just going to leave that in there. We'll fire her up, or him up, or whatever. See if we get her any better now. Brake clean in there. Now it already idles better. Let's see what happens. That ain't bad at all. Alright, let's change the oil. These are usually upside down unless you've had a relocation kit done on a slant 6. And some of them are pretty tough to get to, but on a truck like this, you can actually go through the fender well through your little flap protector, control arm protector or whatever. You can get right in there and grab it. It ain't too bad. This thing's pretty heavy and that oil is like gas. So let me get the new one in. I can't do what I normally like to do on these because Mopar is upside down. Let me get it back together and we'll put the oil in. Yeah, that's good Lord. Good thing we're changing that. That's nasty. Yeah, VR1 racing and classic car has everything you need for these flat tappet motors. Plus, it's good for high mileage stuff too, just in general. But I started using this once I started realizing that Rotella didn't have what I needed at all. It barely has what I need for my semi anymore. I don't know. Use what you want. Do your own due diligence. Do your own studies. Find your facts. You know, like the government and most of the left-wing media tells you. Anyway, here's 5 quarts of good old 2050 valve Boline. And let's spill it. And we did spill it. It's alright. Make the motor look better. You know, if this thing runs good, I may spritz it up a little bit as far as the engine goes. But, oh, and if you're keeping score, I did drop the spring off of that needle for the air-fuel mixture, and I did not notice it. So if you were screaming at the TV or screaming at your phone that I didn't put it on there, you would be right. But while I was under there, I found it on the cardboard, and I stuck it back in. So I got to readjust that. No big deal. Used a Wix filter, as always. If I don't have a Wix, I'll use a AC Delco or a Motorcraft. STP is actually a pretty good one too. You should really look into different filters, but I like these. I like Wix. Another good one is Hastings. Hastings filters are good filters too. A lot of them are probably made in the same place, but they're made differently. Don't let anybody fool you on that. They are made in the same place. A lot of them are made just south of me in Albion, Illinois. They're made in the same place, yes. Are they manufactured exactly the same? No. They're made to the name that's on the filter, their specification, at the same factory. That doesn't mean that if you pop a Wix out, it looks just like a Hastings, or it looks just like an STP, or it looks just like a, you know, anything in that, Purolator, lubrifiner, there's all kinds. Just because they're made in the same factory does not mean they're the same, because they make Frams too. And Frams are straight garbage. So, anyway, I don't know how I got this so bent. Double check. I don't know if this takes 5 quarts or more. I do have some more. It'll be close. It'll be close. So when I start this, it's going to be a little wonky because, you know, I put that spring in there. I know what happened. Just calm down. Yeah. 45 pounds of oil pressure now. Before we had 10. Whew. Yeehaw. Got that piece of shit Fram out of there, threw it in the oil and gas. That way I knew that I would never try to reuse it. Got that all set up. Went ahead and got the vacuum line and hooked it directly to vacuum on the distributor. If that don't work, we'll try to find a ported vacuum port maybe. I think that's how these were from the factory, but I think they had this hooked up this way. So if it's bad, we'll change it. It's not a big deal. And then got that on there. Little bitty piece. Got the new chop saw out that I don't use a lot. Chopped off what I needed. Should be good to go. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. See how she sounds. Oh, I also put a new cap and rotor on it because ours was junk. So now let's start it and see what it does. No gas. Not bad. Damn it, I forgot it needs a belt. Don't worry about that another time. Say we drop her on the ground. Get the wheels back on it, clean up a little bit. Alright, let's try it. I'm just going to drive right here because these tires, they're junk. Hopefully this goes well. Alright, This thing is working, it's charging, and just over 180, 40 pounds of oil pressure. So, all right. It's a weird ass thing you got to do with the reverse. Only got one mirror. I got brakes. Yep, I got brakes. I guess I should have checked that before I did anything, huh? Come on, you got brakes? Yep, he does. This will be hard to do one-handed. Well, how do you get? Where's first gear? Oh, okay, so first gear is, what a weird, that's a weird setup. We do have a little bit of, hell yeah. This thing's first drive in years. Brakes need bled yet, but if you pump them, they're pretty good. Reverse. Can't see a damn thing. It is first gear. Alright, there's first. You sure that's first? Let me double check. Let me double check. Oh, we got a leak. Water leak. So reverse is all the way up. Yeah, so okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I didn't. Wow. Yeah, gotta pump the brakes. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. And go down to the bottom of the hill. Oh, we got a burnout. We got a burnout. Leaning tire fire. Ha ha. Yes. It's hard to do with one hand. Awesome. Brakes are getting better too. This thing's ready to roll. Just clean her up a bit and get something going with the wheels and stuff, and I think we got her. Oh yeah, you can drive this thing anywhere. That's awesome. That, you can't ask for better than that. Slant 6, and this is the original dash to 77,000. I guarantee you that's 177,000. She ready to roll, gentlemen and ladies. Well guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Will it run and drive? Yeah, it will. It runs and drives very, very well. What do we do? What do you think? Try to find a fender, bumper, kind of clean up the rust in the back there? What do you think? I haven't quite decided yet on the sell thing. We might sell it, might, probably will. We won't know until we get her done, but I got some ideas because it's smooth, it runs smooth. That little miss, we're leaving that alone. We got to do some interior work. We got to clean out the outside. It needs a windshield, maybe some wheels and tires. And I just got bit by something, don't care. Hopefully I get some kind of like superpowers or something, but nope. We just need to get her cleaned up. So, but as far as the mechanicals, Ricky Joe, is ready to go. So, we'll see you on the next one. I appreciate all you, appreciate all my sponsors. Lug Nut guys, Strike Hold, Super Clean, friggin' everybody who's helped me in any situation with any project. Let me know in the comments what you think we should do. I'm not swapping the motor. That engine runs great. It's got great oil pressure. I'm good. So anyway, guys, Ricky Joe is running and driving. We'll see you on the next one.